y'all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cowboy Ranch Life, and I've been alerted that I talk probably a little too fast in these videos, so I'm going to try to slow it down and explain things a little bit better. Nevertheless, so today we're working on a 1992 Dodge D250 or W250. I'm not quite sure the difference. People refer to them different ways, and so that's how it is. Nevertheless, I'm working on that today, and actually it's Justice's truck, so actually I'm more like the sidekick because it's his truck. Nevertheless, we're putting window motors in, and so we're going to get this all tore apart, pull the side panels off the doors, and get right into it. So with that said, let's start working on it. Alright, so we're here. We got the side door panel off, which has had some modifications by somebody before us that like to wall out a hole for the door hinge. Nevertheless, so we took the switch off, which slides right out of there. You can see this. So we tested some of these wires to make sure it wasn't the switch problem, and it isn't. So then we took this apart, which the window motor is back into here. Justice has been working on cutting out the holes. You have to cut 3 holes out to get to the bolts, which holds the window motor on. Nevertheless, if you can see up in there, you can kind of see a gear. That's what actually turns the window motor on. I'll get out of the light here where you can still see it, but there's a gears right there, like a big U gear, and that gear there kind of turns it all. Nevertheless, so we thought, well, maybe it's not the window motor, maybe it's just a wiring issue. So we unplugged. This is the wiring. It actually goes back in behind the door, but we found it and unplugged it, thinking, well, maybe it's just the connectings, or we don't have electricity to the panel. So we took our ohmmeter, which if you haven't used one of those, that is it right there. It's a Bosch ohmmeter. We love this thing. You can test any battery with it, 12 volt. You can do a lot of other different things with it. You can see all the settings there, but we just like to use it on the 12 volt setting the most with our little points, and we can just plug them in. So we push those into there, not very hard because you don't want to bend or break the plug-in piece. We pushed them in, and we used our switch, our window switch, which moved it back and forth, and we found out that that wire right here has 12.34 volts, which is plenty of volts for the window motor to work because this truck is only a 12 volt truck. So when it's running 12.34, that is perfect. I mean, a little over is fine. As long as you don't get to like 14 volts, then you really need to start digging in and trying to figure out why you've got too many volts. Nevertheless, so that's 12.34 volts there. So we know from here out the wiring harness is good. So there's a 4-inch tail off the window motor. So we made sure that the 4-inch tail was all put in together and made sure that there was no wiring errors there. Made sure our plug-in was all cleaned out. We plugged it back in. Still nothing in working order. So then we decided that, well, maybe if we work the window back and forth, we WD-40'd it all, maybe it's just something that's froze up. That is not the case. It will go down sometimes, but to make it go up, you actually have to slam the door and make it work. I think it's something inside the window motor itself. So what I'm looking forward to trying is we're going to pull that window motor out of there. We're going to plug it back into there, and then it should be able to turn one way or the other with no pressure added. And then we're going to add some pressure to the window motor and see if it's just spun out inside and it's just weak, or if it's completely worn out and we have to get a new one. And by the way, depends where you shop, but a new window motor is roughly about $70, $75, somewhere in there. We tried to get a shop to put all this in, and how much was it for a shop to put all this window motor stuff in, Justice?
Give or take. He didn't know exactly what I was going to need, so he quoted me roughly, give or take, and it was about $500, give or take.
So we thought, well, for $500 we can pull it in the shop and try to tear it apart. So we got, like I said, the door shield off, all of that. This truck has never been into that way, because the way we know that is you still see the plastic off the door, and you have to peel that off. It seems wrong to peel that off because you've never been into it, and it kind of shows that, but you have to peel it off to get into it, so that tells us that it's never been worked on. Or at least this side hasn't. So we're going to get ready to tear the other side apart because it is really weak as well. We're going to test it out to make sure that it's got no problems, and then we're going to get back with you guys. Alright, so, light is blinding. Nevertheless, Justice is going to get ready. We've got a drill and a 1-inch, I think it's a 1-inch. Is it half-inch?
I'm not, I think it might be quarter.
There. Whatever that drill bit is. And we're going to see if we can't drill a hole and then use a Dremel to do a cleaner job of putting it into perspective, I guess. Putting the window motor into perspective so we can be able to see it and take it apart. So let's get at it. Alright, y'all, so we cut our holes. So Justice has got the long, deep well socket. That's what works the best because it is a little deeper down in there. But nevertheless, he's taking out the bolts. He's got one out already. He's working on this one, and then he's got one more. And then that piece should just come right out of there.
Also, this is a 3/8 socket set. You guys can see that.
It's loose enough now, it's just trying to fall out. Alright, and there is a window motor out of a 1992. You can see that gear there. Anyway, so that's what it is. And there's the plug-in on it. So we're going to see if we can't get it tested, or test it ourselves. Just put some wires on the little spades there and see if it'll turn without any pressure on it. Nevertheless, we had to cut the holes the reasons we did, as you'll see, but there's the 3 holes. So if you're trying to do this also, that's the way to do it. As you can see, there's that gear in there that moves up and down as the window moves up and down. So perfect. Just don't hit too many bumps, your window will rattle down. So we're going to start testing this out and see if it's good, or if it needs a new wiring, or what the issue is. Alright, y'all, so we've got it plugged back in, and we're going to see if it works. One way it works, watch this. Now it works the other way until we tap, and then it won't pull itself.
A wretched screeching noise. So like if I hit a bump or something.
Yes. And also we've noticed that it'll work if it taps, but it won't work if we don't tap it. So I'm not sure if we can take this apart, but we're going to see here. Alright, y'all, so you can see we took the bolts out, and we took this thing apart. So let's see what it looks like inside. Alright, so it's kind of dirty. So we're going to clean it and see if we can't lube it up a little bit, and then we're going to see how it works, because hopefully it'll that lubricant will soak down in there and just be able to, oh, look at that, it's already spinning more free. So we're going to see if it maybe wasn't the problem, if it just had junk down in there and wasn't working right. So let's stick this all back together after we clean it and get after it. Well, the good news is that I don't think the window motor's bad. We're going to try it. Maybe it just lubed it up and it's still weak, I don't know. But we're going to run the switch, if you can see. So there's the switch. Try to picture it all. Runs both ways smoothly. No more of that squeaking, squealing. You can tap on it and wiggle it. It don't make any moves or sounds. So we're going to get a zip tie to zip tie the wire back up, and then we're going to put it back in. Welcome to McDonald's. How may I take your order?
Yes, I would take a 1 1/4 pounder with a side of Mountain Dew and a large fry on that, please.
All right. Pay at the first window, please.
Thank you. Alright guys, so as you can see, the window's working. Pretty happy about that. Ever since I've got this truck, the windows did not work. So every time I had to go through the drive-thru, I had to open the door, and everybody looked at me like I was an idiot. But that's just how it was, and I really wanted the meal or whatever I was getting, so it was kind of worth it. But what we did to fix the door was we used plenty of WD-40, or penetrating oil, I should say. Highly recommend that. You cannot overuse this stuff on situations like this. So we took the motor apart, and I put plenty of WD-40 on that. I thought, why not? What do I got to lose? WD-40 or penetrating oil is expensive, but when it comes to saving money on a high-dollar window motor, and it might fix it. So I did that, and the window seems to be working pretty well. It's got a little slow spot, but not a big deal. It goes up and down like we would ask, so it seems to be working pretty good.
So, Justice, let's kind of show them. We didn't put the interior panel on yet. Let's show them how the guts of this works when you hit the switch. So, as you can see, there's a roll track there and a roll track there. And then the gear that actually turns it is right in there, and the gear actually moves. Go ahead and hit that, would you, Justice? So you can see the gear moves, which therefore moves that big gear. So he's going to put it all the way down now. Hey, watch this gear here, and see the track go down. That's how the windows on the automatics. Now the manuals are the same way here concept, and the gear concept's kind of the same, but you've got a manual piece instead of the automatic motor and all that. Nevertheless, that's how it's designed. Also, here's your door hinge, and that kind of shows you kind of how that's designed a little bit. Also, if you're ever needing to work on that. Alright y'all, so thank you for viewing this video. As you see, we didn't end up having to buy a window motor, we just lubed it all up. So, Justice, you have anything else you would like to say?
I don't think so. I'm glad penetrating oil and taking it out and taking it apart and oiling it, I'm glad that worked, and I hope it stays working, and I'm glad it was kind of an easy fix.
Alright, so with that said, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to hit the subscription button to see more of these videos like this. Also, like the video if you enjoyed the content you saw. Comment down below if you have questions, or if you would like to critique the content, or if you have done this before and you wanted to critique what we did, so next time maybe we wouldn't have to fight something so much. Nevertheless, hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to go follow us on Instagram for daily things we post on there. And with that said, hope you all have an awesome day.